are new, and I am, let's see, live streaming on Haps, Twitter, and YouTube at the same time, I think. Right? So I am new to Haps, not new to live streaming, and I talk about things like mental health disorders, therapy, becoming a therapist, everything within that realm. So today, let's talk about anxiety and anxiety disorders and what is the difference. So, every single one of us has experienced anxiety. If you've been on this planet, more than 5 minutes, you've had anxiety. And the reason for that is that anxiety serves a purpose. Anxiety is a protective function that warns us when danger is present. Now, when I say danger, that danger may be 5 minutes from now, something that's going to occur 5 minutes from now, or 50 years from now. And it's our anticipation that something is going to happen. And then when we perceive that that's going to happen that's dangerous, our body gets us ready to deal with that danger. And so typically the um, the brain sends a message, and this is very, very like simplistic explanation, but the brain sends a message to the body that, hey, danger is present, and then the body reacts by getting you ready to either fight that danger off, run away from it, or freeze in the sight of it. So, simple example, you're crossing the street and a bus is coming. What do? Well, you want to get out of the way of the bus. And so your body needs to be able to move quickly. This happened to me once in Las Vegas. I was there for a conference, and I was leaving, and I had my big bag, and I was thinking about like what I had just experienced at the conference, and I'm pulling my rolly bag, crossing the street, not really paying attention. I look up, and there is actually a bus coming my way. And you can bet that I got my legs moving and I'm dragging that bag because the bus didn't look like it was going to slow down, right? So, in order to get out of the way of the danger of the bus, I needed to be able to, like, so to speak, run away from the danger. So, in order to run, you need your heart to pound, you need like blood flow going. You don't need to focus close enough to read. You need to see where you're going, all of those sorts of things. Now, very, very useful if you're dealing with danger. Now, where the problem can occur is that when there is no visual danger, like an oncoming bus. Let's say you're sitting home on your sofa, and maybe you're not even aware that you're thinking about anything. And then all of a sudden, your heart starts to pound. You're feeling sweaty, maybe a little dizzy. Maybe you're having a feeling of like unreality or depersonalization where you're like feeling like you're outside of your body, and then those feelings scare you, right? Because you don't know where they're coming from. My heart's beating fast. Then thoughts can kick in. What if I'm having a heart attack? My vision's blurry. What if I'm going blind? Well, what happens when you have those kinds of thoughts? Your anxiety has nowhere to go but up. And so then your anxiety goes up. Well, when your anxiety goes up, then the symptoms can increase. And that cycle can keep happening. And the worst case scenario is you can have a panic attack. And a panic attack is when all the symptoms of anxiety reach like their height, a crescendo. They're really extreme for about 10 to 15 minutes. Well, one good thing about our autonomic nervous system, the part that turns on, says, hey, there's danger. We need to get you ready to fight danger or run away from it. Well, there's another part. That's the parasympathetic nervous system, or the sympathetic nervous system. There's another part, the parasympathetic nervous system, that says, okay, time to shut this down. And because we don't just get turned on, anxiety speaking, and stay in that place forever, there's the part that turns down, and then it's over. So so what is the difference between anxiety and an anxiety disorder? We The body can get mixed messages or incorrect messages. So that system works really well when there's real danger to fight, or run away from. The body doesn't know the difference between a bus, an oncoming bus, and a thought. So going back to that person sitting on the couch, and we have thoughts all the time that we're not even aware of what we're thinking about. Let's say that person was thinking about work that they haven't completed, and maybe tomorrow my boss is going to be really upset with me, and maybe they'll call me in and tell me I haven't gotten this work done, or whatever. And that's the danger. It triggers the body, but we often don't make those connections. And so, do you need all that adrenaline flowing when you're thinking about situations at work, like in your home on your couch? No, but the body doesn't know the difference. So now, where an anxiety disorder comes in is when this is happening to the point that it's impairing our functioning. So if we go back a minute when I was describing what is a panic attack, that period of time where the symptoms are at their height, and the system has kind of gone on tilt and overload. Lots and lots and lots of people have experienced panic attacks in their lives. One estimation is that at least 50% of us will experience at least one panic attack during the course of our life. Now, 50% of us will not go on to develop an anxiety disorder. But let's take two more people, both have panic attacks. How we look at the experience of the panic attack is really critical. So let's say the first person has a panic attack and they say, "Oh my gosh, that was awful," because no one says, "Oh boy, I had a panic attack." No one enjoys a panic attack. But you know what? So stressed out. I have comprehensive exams for my school program. I'm trying to do work too. I'm having difficulty in my relationship. I'm so super stressed out. No wonder I had a panic attack. Um, so that person looks at their panic attack and can, like, you know give a plausible explanation for it. The second person has a panic attack for maybe similar reasons, or it doesn't matter the reasons. But when they reflect on that panic attack, they say, "Oh my gosh, that's the worst thing that ever could happen to me." And don't forget, the first person didn't like the panic attack either, right? No one does, okay? But the second person becomes deathly afraid of the panic attack. That was the worst thing I've ever experienced. It was terrifying. I cannot have that happen again. I have to do everything in my power to prevent myself from having another panic attack. Um, and then they kind of go about their next days and weeks, and, like, okay, what if I have another one? Got to make sure I don't. Um, I was okay. I was in that store when I had it. Maybe I shouldn't go to that store. I'm not saying that person will develop an anxiety disorder, but they are at more risk of developing an anxiety disorder than the first person. And so, anyway, we are all individuals and we all react to things differently. So, we're all going to perceive our anxiety differently, and there's no judgment for anyone with regards to how you respond to your anxiety. But how we respond to our anxiety, uh, is important, because it may be helpful, or it might hinder our growth, or put us at risk for an anxiety disorder. Anyway, I can go on and on and on for hours and hours and hours about anxiety and anxiety disorders. But just some key things to keep in mind, particularly if you are suffering. Um, Number one is that anxiety disorders are like the number one mental health issue that afflicts people in the U.S. and in a lot of other countries too. If you look at the data, and um, does not mean you're crazy. It does, crazy, whatever that means. It is not. Um, it is not like a sentence to lifelong um, problems per se. I mean, different people have different levels of anxiety disorders, different levels of struggle. If you've been struggling for many, many years, it might be, it's probably going to be more of a challenge to find healing and recovery and things like that than if you just developed it a couple months ago. I mean, that is true. But there's hope for everyone. And there are a lot of really good therapies out there, treatments in another stream. I'll start talking about options for treating anxiety disorders. And the third thing is you do not need to suffer alone. There's lots of support. There's not only good therapy, but there are lots of really good people online who will in supportive communities. And again, I'm new to HAPS, so but I see a lot of people on HAPS that I met on Periscope, and I know that they're good people. Patty, I don't know if you're still in here. I see you subscribed, but that doesn't mean that you're in here. But anyway, Patty is one of them. A very supportive, wonderful person, and Patty is a volunteer. I want to have you on sometime, Patty, if you can hear me. And She is a crisis counselor on the crisis text line. So there is a text line that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where you can text and talk to a trained crisis counselor. And anxiety is one of the issues that you can reach out and talk to someone if, like, you've had a panic attack and you're that scared. This was one route you could go. If you're in the US, the number is 741-741. Just text hello or help. If you're in Canada, I think the same number works, but it's also 686868. And in the UK, 85258. You can go to the website crisistextline.org. I know that they are in need of volunteers. If you're in a place where you'd like to train to become a volunteer to help other people, I know they really, really could use some volunteers. And they will not just throw you out there. They will give you the training you need before and the support you need before you would, take calls, or not really calls. They're texts, right, before you work as a crisis counselor. And if you've experienced panic attacks, if you have done therapy to work on getting anxiety under control, like you might be in a really good position to help other people. And then on the crisis text line, they will give resources for finding a therapist, finding other information. I'll give you a few resources right now. One would be ADAA.org. That's the Anxiety and Depression Disorders Association of America. It's a nonprofit organization, and they have a lot of information on anxiety at that website. If you're looking for a therapist, a good place to look is psychologytoday.com, where whatever state you're in, whatever city you're in, and some other countries, you can see profiles of therapists and like their pictures and like what they say about how they do therapy. Some of them have little videos. I need to make my video. Believe it or not, I haven't done that yet. But um, and so there are a couple of resources. All right, don't want to have this go too long. If you like what you see, please subscribe. I will be streaming more often, and um, if you would like to connect with me, you can go through my website, which is drjenniferfee.com. So I'm here, Dr. Jennifer Fee. I'm on Instagram, Dr. Jennifer Fee, I think pretty much everywhere. All right, so I am Dr. Jennifer Fee, a licensed clinical psychologist in Southern California, and I do live streaming to help break the stigma surrounding mental health issues, provide some what we call psychoeducation so that you can learn more about these issues, and just inspire hope so that you are not alone and that you can get help with for whatever that you're suffering with. All right, take care, everyone, and have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time.